This video will focus on setting up the details of individual registration items that you create. Now, I've created a couple of sample categories here: men's competition, women's competition, and tent rental. Let's click on the men's, and you'll see a control panel that allows you to set the attributes of the men's competition registration item that will appear on your registration form. Now, the first thing you'll notice is the row of buttons to the left and the fact that it's under enhanced registration items. Whenever you go to set up an activity in our system, and we do divide them between activities and non-activity items. So, for example, an activity is a registration item where the attendee is going to do something or attend something, and a non-activity item is something like goods, facility rental, meals, membership, or sponsorship. But within the activity items, we have simple and enhanced activity items. The only difference between the two is really this subcategory button here. And the subcategory button allows you to create, as the name implies, subcategories for your registration item. On different sites of ours, different Eventsquid sites, you'll see things like height, weight, division, color, meal, time slot, different things that you can use to further refine the registrant's registration category. Now, within this control box, we have the basics screen, and this is where you'll put in the title, a brief description, the activity start date and time if you want, the price, to whom you will offer this item, and this will be attendees only, exhibitors or sponsors only, or both. And you can also offer this to outside ticket purchasers. So things like t-shirts or meals you might want to also offer to general admission attendees. You can simply check the box here. That's it for the basics. If you go to the options list, you'll see a number of things, and if you mouse over each one, an explanation of the item will appear to the right. If you have multiple items that you'd like the registrant to choose maybe one of three, one of two, you would set up a group using our group setup button. You can also access it here by creating a group. And within that group, you can say, I only want for Wednesday sessions for the user to be able to pick one of two items. And so that would be grouping the item, and you can access that group panel right here under options. It's also worth noting that you can not only limit the number of selections for this item per registrant. So in a case of an enhanced registration, it's always one because one person is registering for that category. They're either in or they're out. But if it's an item like shirts or tents, you would have multiple quantities here, and you can limit the number that each registrant can get. You can also put an overall limit on this item so that if you have quantity limits and you run out, it will no longer be offered for registration or selection on the registration form. And this is useful for goods. Let's say if you only have 100 shirts, set it to 100, and when it reaches 100, they're gone. The rest of these items, you can again read the explanation on the right as you mouse over the item. If you want to activate guest or team registration, you'll do it from this panel. That's the subject of its own video. And if you're including apparel with this registration item, you'll want to indicate the sizes that you're offering so that the user cannot select the item until after they've chosen their size. Finally, you can limit the access to this item by registrant by setting up a code. You'll need to have this in a group, even if it's in a group all by itself. And this will hide the item altogether from the registration form unless the person knows to enter the code, and you will have given them that code before. And this is useful for registration items that are highly exclusive that you don't want other people to see who may be accessing the same registration form. So that's the control panel. And if you have further questions, please reach out via chat or use our online help.